Venice was built to impress. The Venetians were a power, and they wanted everyone to know about it. It was one in the eye for their rivals. Who wouldn't be dazzled by the achievement? Dry land? Who needs it? You build one of the great cities of the world on water. If you were going to build Venice today, you wouldn't, which is of course why the place still bowls us over. How did it happen? Why here? How on earth did they do it? Venice produces a kind of sensory overload in just about everyone who sees it. No photograph can really do it justice, so we blunder around, snapping everything and understanding much less. And in the process, creating one gigantic tourist crush which drives visitors and Venetians crazy.
Quasi tutto il turismo veneziano, come diciamo noi, è un turismo mordi e fuggi.
When Massimo Cacciari was mayor of Venice, he ran a poster campaign showing the seamier side of the city, the rubbish on St Mark's Square, dead rats in the canals, to see if a touch of realism might dent the romanticism. Didn't make a scrap of difference.
Ma sa, Venezia è un mito internazionale e quindi attrae anche per i suoi aspetti più appunto mitologici.
Among the many myths about Venice is that it's a city without cars. Not true, and here are the pictures to prove it. Venice isn't dead. In fact, it's fearfully crowded with the living, which is the point Livio De Marchi was making when he built his amphibious beetle.
Ancora quando io avevo una piccola barca e andavo nei piccoli canali, prima di avvicinarmi al canale grande, mi sono accorto che le onde mi attraversavano nell'acqua, quindi ho detto con mio figlio Mattia torniamo indietro perché è diventato il canale grande un'autostrada e a questo mi dispiace da là.
And some days the Grand Canal looks more like Spaghetti Junction. The vaporetti, the little ferries that are the city's main transport, are overcrowded. All aboard for a sardines eye view of Venice. Which is why a lot of Venetians now think it'd be better to have just the tourists who really want to get to know Venice properly.
Allora se parliamo uno che viene a Venezia solo per fare un giro e andare via, è meglio che lui non venga. Però io penso che una cosa culturale deve esserci anche la persona che non ha la possibilità.
A city which has long been in danger from the water is now at risk of being washed away by a human tide of tourism, which knows little of history, of why Venice even exists. And why did you come to Venice?
We're on a Kentucky tour.
So it was just on the programme?
Yep.
Right. What did you know about Venice before you came here?
It had canals, that's about it.
Right.
Really, I do not know much history about it.
So why did you come here?
Oh, I've heard it was the most beautiful city in the world.
It's a city I've always wanted to visit.
Yeah. And to take a gondola ride, that's just something I've always wanted to do.
The problem is that the whole world wants to take a gondola ride, and all at once. Nothing seems to deter them, not the $5 mineral water at a cafe in the square, or the $7 cover charge for the music. You can't blame the Venetians, I guess. If we're crazy enough to pay these prices, they'd be mad to charge them. Which makes it all the more surprising that even the Venetians have had enough and are thinking about trying to limit or even cut the number of tourists. Marino Cortesi runs the tourism department of the Venice Council.
Purtroppo Venezia è nel circuito, per dirla, dell'Europa in 9 giorni, cioè di una cosa assurda.
Venetians are pretty much united in the view that they have too many of the wrong sort of tourists. The sort who just want to look at St. Mark's and take a gondola ride, and not really delve into the city's rich history.
Questo è lo scotto che si paga al turismo di massa, non c'è dubbio. Però chi viene a Venezia deve sfruttare un'occasione particolare, cioè altrimenti è come andare in qualsiasi altro posto. E allora è bene fare un po' di sforzo e di impegno e leggere e studiare un po'.
Venice is a city of stunning first impressions. And there are those who believe the current era of mass tourism is lowering the tone of the whole place.
Buonasera, grazie.
And tone is something they rate very highly at the Hotel Cipriani. Since the 50s, they've been doing it in style at the Cipriani. From Liz Taylor to Gwyneth Paltrow, the guest list is a celebrity who's who.
Everything has changed. They go around in shorts. They try to come, sometimes visitors here for drinks. They come in shorts in the 6 o'clock in the evening for drinks. We don't want them. So this is the change.
If you have to ask the price of a room at the Cipriani, then you can't afford it. But no matter how much the high flyers pay to bed down here for the night, during the day they have to battle the same crowds as everyone else. So the hotel's managing director, Natale Rusconi, thinks it's time to rein in the antics of the hoi polloi.
Probably we'd need more police to survey and to discipline people. They shouldn't sleep or sit in the middle of the square, practically half naked. I mean, this is what happens during the summer, you see.
Dr. Rusconi favours charging people for the right to simply enter Venice.
I'm sure I'm going to make a lot of enemies by saying this, but I couldn't care less. I mean, I believe Venice is such a jewel, such a beautiful place. Look at that it should be really defended. And the local authorities should be very severe, very severe.
Hello, sir.
This is not a view confined just to the top end of town.
Everything is made in Murano glass. You can see yourself.
Marco Francali, a local shopkeeper who relies on tourists for his living, also wants to charge the day trippers.
Che change le couleurs avec la lumière. E poi si sentono liberi di essere come in una spiaggia, senza t-shirt, seduti per terra, mangiano per terra. Io sono stato in America, sono stato in Inghilterra, sono stato in Francia. Io non ho mai visto un inglese comportarsi così, o un tedesco comportarsi come si comporta a Venezia in certi casi.
So what and who are we really talking about here? Well, mainly the estimated 10 million day visitors who come to Venice each year, many of whom bring their own lunch. And there's the real issue. They don't buy much. And for all the talk about high culture, Venice is a place where art and commerce are joined at the hip pocket. So paying for the privilege is popular with local shopkeepers.
È molto semplice, quando si acquista il biglietto di entrata di viaggio, si mette anche 5.000 lire, 10.000 lire, anche per tenere pulita la città, perché per tenere pulita la città ci vogliono tanti soldi e se lei vede questa città è sporca.
But this notion of charging day trippers an entrance fee is given short shrift by the tourist office.
È una provocazione, una sintesi. Nessuno metterà mai una tassa su questo, proprio perché Venezia è una città normale.
Venice, a normal city? That's going a bit far. True, it's the regional capital with courts and all the usual administration, but if Venice is a normal city, then so is Disneyland.
If it were like Disneyland, I wouldn't care at all. I wouldn't mind at all because Disneyland is very well organized, you see.
Plenty of Venetians don't like the idea of charging an entrance fee precisely because of the Disneyland connotations. They still insist that Venice is a normal city. To concede otherwise effectively makes the whole city a museum and Venetians themselves, therefore, living exhibits.
Venezia è più viva che mai e dimostra che c'è tanta gente che vuole vedere Venezia e quindi si deve stare attenti a che non venga troppa gente in un solo momento.
When he's not cruising the canals in his wooden car, Livio De Marchi, Venetian born and bred, carves out a successful career as a sculptor. But he's part of a dwindling band. Fewer than 70,000 people now live in Venice. 100,000 have left in the last few decades.
Forse sono un po' un particolare. Io ci vivo benissimo con i turisti e con i pochi purtroppo di veneziani. A me ricorda che quando io ero bambino, era 4, 5 volte, 6 volte di più i veneziani.
This is Venice's conundrum. Tourism is its life, but it's also the reason many people leave.
Con i turisti, penso che secondo me è la navigazione, nel senso che sono abbastanza mal organizzati i vaporetti, perciò non sono scaglionati bene, non c'è il vaporetto per i turisti, il vaporetto per i veneziani, come forse sarebbe meglio ci fosse. Cioè d'estate c'è un gran casino.
Daniela and Marco Tagliafindo are Venetian, but for them it's a hideously expensive way of life.
Cioè, devi venire qua di alto per risparmiare un po' nella spesa. I supermercati sono sempre affollati, in più cioè, devi portare pesi, cioè è un po' un...
Sono cari.
Sì, non è facile, ecco, e quindi tanti giovani la lasciano per questo, diciamo.
Belatedly, perhaps, Venetian authorities are acting to try to make Venice a bit more livable for tourists and locals. Already, tourists pay about 8 times as much as Venetians to travel on the Vaporetti.
Perché in realtà questi mezzi di trasporto via d'acqua sono molto costosi e quindi ai turisti si fa pagare il costo reale del trasporto. I veneziani, proprio per combattere il costo della vita, lo spopolamento della città, si fa un prezzo di favore.
According to Marino Cortesi, Venice needs to educate tourists to attract them to other interesting parts of the city, away from St. Mark's Square and other bottlenecks.
E questo crea dei disagi. In verità la città è grande, è un grandissimo centro storico, e è poco conosciuto e poco così goduto dal turista.
It's true, away from St. Mark's, Venice can be delightfully tranquil. So there are big plans to develop new tourist sites to try to spread the tourists round more evenly. And just to go full circle, there are some, including the former mayor Massimo Cacciari, who argue that if Venice does this properly, it'll be able to handle even more tourists.
Se noi riusciamo a realizzare questa strategia che è già tutta impostata, i lavori avviati, eccetera, allora Venezia può convivere non con 15 milioni di turisti, ma con 20, con 25 milioni di turisti senza nessun problema.
That is until the locusts of mass tourism have had their fill and move on. What then for Venice?